Here. Good morning. I'm coming out bright and early. It's Friday, and I decided to come and broadcast live because I have a lot of people who are coming out and they're responding and replying to the John Gray video that I made the day before yesterday, as well as replying to the McDonald's attack video that I put up yesterday. And so I'm giving you all the opportunity to come and speak with me live about some of the things and some of the concerns that you may have had. One reoccurring comment that I'm getting about the John Gray video is, why am I not minding my business? That's one of the things that I'm getting. Another thing that I'm getting from the McDonald's video is that all black men are not like that. That black men are protecting black, that we not on our own. Okay, so I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to discuss. So welcome in, everybody. Welcome. Come on in, everyone. Let me I'll wait for you guys to start populating. Come on and say your morning greeting. I have oh, goodness gracious. Happy New Year's to you too. Oh my goodness, Morpheus, how are you doing? So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because I have a lot of people who are not, 120,000 subscribers I just crossed over. So thank you all and welcome to all of the new people who are on my page. So I have a lot of people who are not really familiar with me, who are commenting and et cetera, et cetera. So, I wanted to give people a chance this morning to come and say what it is that's on their heart and mind, etc., etc. So to answer the question, why did I do the John Gray video? Hey, good morning, Miss Vina. Why did I do the John Gray? I did the John Gray video because you all had been sending me stuff over the past few months. A lot of people have still been commenting about the whole situation. And many people were telling me that John Gray had an affair. And they wanted me to report on it. And I was like, please send me and show me your receipts. So some of the people who are commenting, good morning, happy Friday to you too, Crystal. Some of the people who are commenting only watched the first 4 minutes of the video, because in the latter part of the video, I show where Gray and his wife, hey Eula, welcome, where Gray and his wife were actually discussing, and I wanted your point of view on that, on whether or not what it is that you heard is the same thing that I heard. Where Happy New Year's, everyone. Happy New Year's. I wanted to know if some of the things that I heard were some of the same things that you heard. Did you hear the same thing that I heard? And so that, and then the McDonald's. So I didn't say that all black men don't protect black women. This new generation that we have coming up nowadays, I have seen, and this has been my experience. The bulk of the videos that I've seen of black women being attacked either by men or by other women, there was nobody that really came to there were no black men who came to for them. Let me think if I've seen, there was one video that I saw where a black man jumped in, and that's because his girlfriend was the one being attacked by like a group of girls, and he himself started throwing blows, punching other women or punching women. So that is one that I saw. Some of the other videos that I've seen were like in the Waffle House. Where else? Waffle House, on the streets, random fights. And there was really nobody there to take up for the black women except for, let's say, other black women. Right? I don't know. I feel like we have some serious issues in our community where there's a lot of pent up anger, a lot of frustration, violence rearing its head, and far too many of us too comfortable with violence, too comfortable with seeing each other at the end of violence, at the tail end of it, or as the recipient of it. So that's basically. Michael File wants to email me. Sure, go to my website. If you go to my website, TonyaTKO.com, you'll see, good morning, free to be. You'll see a link there or an area to be able to send me a contact message directly from the website. So I get those. Most people who go to a website, I think they feel like the person who runs the website is not really checking for it. But as a matter of fact, we check those the most because that's our own personal site. So nonetheless, so regarding the McDonald's attack, I don't know, it just seems like a new trend. First of all, we have far too many people who are, hey, good morning, honey. First of all, we have far too many people who are using their phones to film instead of intervene. We have people who are falling on the train tracks. We have people who are getting into precarious situations, and instead of the bystander helping, they're documenting the demise of another person. So I don't know about that. So honey, I know that you were somebody who had some feeling about my John Gray video. So now that we're live, this is your opportunity to be able to speak out loud about how it is that you feel. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And so what else? I have personally never seen, good morning, Kevin. I've personally never seen video footage of a black male attacking a white girl inside. I've never seen video footage of a black male attacking a white girl while other white men just stood around nonchalantly doing nothing or attempting to stop the girl, meanwhile leaving her vulnerable to further attack. I've not personally seen that. So Ms. Vina is saying women of color, black women in particular, are attacked from all sides. Look at all of the videos with black men putting us down, saying we are angry and that they prefer white women over us. Um, and Ms. Vina, I'll say this, right? And I've learned this as a content creator, that just because you don't hear men talking doesn't mean that they're not feeling or experiencing a thing. We talked about this in the video yesterday. No. The Derek Jackson video. We talked about the toxic femininity that many men exhibit. And when men descend into their toxic feminine, they exhibit characteristics that are on the outskirts of the toxic parts of female behavior, right? And so those men you will see being very vociferous. So they'll be very loud and they're talking, and they'll be very petty and all those things, the things that are at the lowest vibration of femaleness, right? But just because those barrels are loud doesn't mean that they, as a matter of fact, it's the empty barrels that make the most noise. So I remember when I was in high school, it was either when I was in high school or just out of it. I remember looking around on the train because, I'm from New York City. And I remember looking around on the train, and there were some teenagers on there who were really, really loud. They were loud. And so people were talking about how loud these teenagers were. But meanwhile, me and my friends, we were sitting there very quiet. And one of the things that I realized is that people who are gathering attention get the attention, but meanwhile there are many people who are quiet around you who you may not notice. So when you see all of these videos with black men attacking black women, these males don't represent the majority, and they don't represent the consensus. They represent a very toxic portion of black male behavior. So even though it seems like a lot, don't take it for being all or most. Okay, they're just most of the people who are speaking up. So let's see. And Morpheus saying, I'm Caribbean, I like my women melanated. Well, that's wonderful. And L. Brown is saying there was a video in Florida, a white man harassing black women, and black men stepped in like a good black man should. Thank you. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to hear about that, rather. I haven't seen that. So send me the link. Send me the link to that. I'd be more than happy to take a look. And so Honey is saying, I look to you to drop the truth. I thought you were pleased about the news. I just saw this big smile on your face. Not that you don't smile, but I wanted your sad face and the Tonya drama love. Do you hear this? So you wanted my face to be sad. I don't even know how to comment on that because you and I we went back and forth on Instagram about this, and we were talking about your projecting whatever is going on inside onto me and expecting me to be responsible for how you choose to feel. If you see my face, and first of all, let me just say this: I have no feeling about John Gray, his wife, and their marriage. I have no feeling negative or positive about it. It's not my marriage. These people are grown. They are making conscious choice to participate in this relationship in the way that they're participating in it. I am a self-love specialist. When I speak about videos, I come at it from the point of view of self-love and what is the lesson in there for us regarding self-love. That video was an update that people were sending me because they've been speculating that he was cheating. They've been speculating on that for months, wanting me to report on it. I was basically giving the update that people were sending me information because I can't do all of this research on my own. People send me information. And speaking of which, I need you all to send me videos for this coming week. I'm hearing some stuff about R. Kelly. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. And so Honey wanted to see my sad face. There are some things that disturb me. And you guys know in the videos where I am disturbed. Regarding John Gray and his wife, I'm not disturbed by it. I'm not disturbed. And when I give my intros in the beginning of every video, or most videos, I'm always smiling. But I have no feeling about what it is that they choose to do. I'm reporting on what's going on. And in that situation, we all have to glean our own lessons from that. I talked about her thyroid issue. I also talked about her finding her voice and what her life would have been like had she not had to give birth to this grown man. I'm hoping that from the whole message that certain parts will float above the rest, and the people who are meant to hear those messages will. So other than that, I don't know what I don't know what else to say about that. I'm not gonna screw up my face, and all that stuff is not good. It produces wrinkles. You guys know that Santa brought me a dimple for Christmas. So I'm not trying to make all of that go away by screwing up my face about John Gray and his wife, that a grown woman is choosing to birth this man. And you know what? I saw a video today, like some Caucasian girl or whatever she is. She sent me a video today of people who were causing a ruckus. It's on the McDonald's. It's in the comments of that McDonald's video, and she was like, "This is not a black arm. Why is you typing in all caps? So if you scroll through, you'll see it." And there's a video on there that has like a bunch of different people cutting up in fast food restaurants. And in one of the videos, there's this black woman hollering at this man behind the counter about how he better not threaten her daughter and all this other stuff. And then I thought the person standing next to her was a customer in line, but she was like, "Cause this is her father right here, and he'll get on you." And he was like, "Yeah, I'll beat your ass," or something like that. But I'm like, with all of this screaming that this woman is doing at this other man, this is what I'm saying. Too much masculine energy coming up from us. So I have seen far too many disempowered, emasculated men behind these loud, vociferous women or these overbearing women. And if that's how they choose to carry their relationship, it's on them. That's how they choose to do it. What can I say about that? You know what I'm saying? Let me try to catch some of these comments. And William is saying, "Miss Vina, I've seen black women doing the same, calling black men no good, horrible killers, and telling black women to get down with the swirl." William, unfortunately, when it comes to whether or not black men are killers and all this other stuff, men in general, most of the violence that is enacted in our societies, 95% of it is carried out by men. When it comes to murder, 94% of murders are initiated by men. Males and the toxic masculinity that exists is highly problematic in societies. Highly, highly, highly problematic. So let's see what else, what else, what else. And Honey is saying, "I wanted to determine your reaction." Right, but you know what? The thing about it is you can't tell what's going on inside of another person. And what's happening inside of you as you try to determine what's happening inside of another person, all of that is personal interpretation. And only you are responsible for that. This right here is a boundary issue. Because at some point we have to realize where we end and another person begins. And I cannot take ownership for your interpretation, nor will I take ownership or responsibility of it. That's for you to do. And for you to realize that how you feel is how you choose to feel. And so let's say Michelle Oracle is saying good morning. And Miss Venus saying true on all of that. Social media gives most of the attention to the bashers. It's true. And Monetary saying tell them again because they didn't hear you. And let's see. And William is saying, yes, it's wrong as well. We are beating each other down instead of standing together. It's just as bad as women bashing each other or men bashing other men. Now, men bashing other men is something that you don't see really often. Males handle conflict very differently than women do. And when you do see men bashing other men, these are men who are far too deeply descended into the toxic feminine parts of themselves. And so Devils is saying, while we're on the topic of marriage, will you do a video on arranged versus typical marriage? I'm not an expert on the societal differences of marriage. So I've never thought about, I feel like I have this shininess on my cheeks now, right here. Okay. There we go. All right. Yeah, I'm not an expert on the societal, the constraints of marriage and how different societies handle that. I'm not an expert on that. But if other people request this video, I'll be more than happy to do some research and then speak on it. And so Eula is confirming that if she saw a black man publicly attack the young Caucasian girl on camera in McDonald's, he'd most likely be rushed upon and shot. You know what I'm saying? And Kevin was so caught up on that rest in brokenness. Kevin said he had a sad chuckle. Lord, I can't even imagine. I can only when I think of a sad chuckle, I think of Lisa Simpson when her mother used to tell her remember when her mother tried to tell her to smile and always smile, and she was like, ha 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 ha. When I think of a sad chuckle, I think of Lisa Simpson in those episodes. So Kevin Brown, when he saw that video with Aventurn, she was like, rest in brokenness. And see, so this is the thing. If she's created her life in such a way that she wants to be his rest in brokenness, what can we do about it? Just let the gal be. Let her be. And Timescape is saying, Venus, unusual for men to bash each other. That's very true. It's not typical. Men are very different. And there's Miss Venus talking about the change.org petition against Derek Jackson. You know, but those are toxic, disempowered men. So, oh, you know what? When the whole Nicki Minaj thing came out, and thank you, I need to follow up on Cardi B and I need to follow up on Nicki Minaj, but that situation that I saw with her and this man, it's just a mess. You want to talk about mess. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So yeah, so I need to talk about that. Timescape, a man created that petition, the Derek Jackson one. A man, it's called like the Coalition of Black Concerned Men or something like that. And how to work over masculine woman. And Monetary said that was an interesting take on that situation. I don't know what situation we're talking about. And so Timescape is saying that men bashing other men is deeply rooted in feminine energy. No, 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 no. Please do not mistake what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's rooted in feminine energy, because the feminine is healing and the feminine is nurturing and the feminine is energizing. However, there are toxic parts of the feminine which are disempowered, which are stagnant, which are stuck. And so when it comes, if you think about a scale, right? All the way on this end, if you have the toxic feminine, you have lethargy and something that's not moving. If you go all the way onto the other scale, if you get to the toxic masculine, you have aggression and you have violence and you have those sorts of things. So from one scale to another. So no, I'm not saying that it's feminine for them to behave that way. I'm saying that it's toxic. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. So please don't misunderstand me. Hey, 123. Hey, 123 Creations. And so Michelle is saying, love the red dress. Love the dress and the one in red. Let's see. And so my camera is frozen right now, so give it a few moments to unfreeze. And I'll continue to read the comments until it unfreezes. Apparently something is going on right now with YouTube. So women, both black and white, have fought to destroy gender roles and to be equal to men in society. Why is it now a bad thing when men have accepted this conditioning? William, and so you see, you sound like you're descended into the toxic parts of interpretation as well. There's a difference. First of all, a man could never be equal to a woman, ever, ever. Women, we hold every human life inside of our loins. We give birth to every human. A man could never be equivalent to that, ever, ever. There's a difference between fighting for the right to vote, fighting for the right to own property, fighting for the right to have property passed down to you, fighting for the right to have a voice. There's a difference between not wanting to be subjugated and wanting to be a man. First of all, I don't know any woman that wants to be a man. Well, there are some women who want to be men, but the average woman who enjoys being a woman doesn't want to be a man. She just doesn't want to be subjugated, and so just, it's like, and I hear disempowered men talk that foolishness far too often. And I find it disgusting and I find it revolting. It's such a tremendous turnoff when I hear this damn foolishness. It's disgusting. And it's like, what the hell is wrong with you? What's wrong with you? It's like, can you not understand that women wanting the right to vote? And if a man is, listen, first of all, not every man takes care of their children. Far too many of our grandmothers were in abusive relationships and stayed in relationships with men who were bringing them all types of diseases and having children and right up the damn street. Leave her house, walk around the corner, and got a whole other family there. But she couldn't do anything because she couldn't work. A woman wanting to be able to not have to stay in an abusive relationship, wanting to be able to vote, wanting to be able to have her voice heard, doesn't mean that she, one, wants to be a man, two, wants to be quote unquote equal to men. I believe that the women who fought for those rights fought for human rights so that they can be regarded as a human in society instead of a subhuman. And if you can't understand that, then chups upon you. I just wish, sometimes I wish that I could just shake people through the doggone, I wish that I could just come through and just be like, because it's so foolish. Oh, I hurt my head doing that. Oh, goodness. And so honey's trying to butter me up after you done was jabbing into me on social media. Now you talking about I'm rocking the beauty. Hey, Fared, I love you too. So every time I reach 100 plus live views, the screen starts to freeze. Maybe that's it. Maybe 100 is the magic number. And lady is saying, sorry, off topic. What was the name of the pizza restaurant you were at? I'm a pizza lover. You're so funny. It's Napoli's in the Bronx. It's on Tremont and 3rd Avenue. And Timescape is saying, Tonya, a man's seed holds life. Women are just incubators and multipliers of what's given to them. Okay, if you say that. Society needs less male bodies to continue population. Incubation, listen, incubation is the most integral part, because an orgasm for a man lasts what, 15 to 60 seconds. However, the incubation of that life takes 9 months, holding inside of her being. A man and his squirt, his 15 to 60 second squirt, can't compare to that. I'm sorry. And it also can be replaced by, listen, society with 1 million women and 1 man can still continue. 1 million men and 1 woman, and the society is dead in 30 years. It just can't continue that way. And so Free is saying, thank you for clarifying that. I do not want to accept being marginalized by anyone. And so you see, it's like far too many ignorant men out here are like, well, if you want the right to vote, you should also have the right to be beat up like a man. How does that even make sense? It's just so ignorant. Okay, and so Honey is saying a man's seed sows life, but the hands that rock the cradle rules the world. Isis, Osiris, Horus. And Free to Be Me is saying, I have to go to work. I thought you were getting on the broadcast. I was about to be like, you ain't going nowhere. And Michelle is saying, we want equal representation and understanding. Being mothers and having FMLA is a benefit to society as a whole. We shouldn't be punished for it. And Angela's saying, love your voice, it's so soothing. Thank you. In 2018, I'm making hypnotic audios for you all. Hey, ça va bien? Welcome, good morning, bonjour everyone. Ohayo gozaimasu, bonjour, buenos dias, bienvenidos, welcome everyone. And Cyrita is saying both the man and the woman are equally important, especially to the children they create. I mean, we all have our opinions. I don't, nature says otherwise. Nature says otherwise. And Farid is saying women should not vote. I believe in that. And the person's name is Farid Majoub. So we know where it sounds like that, where that point of view is coming from. So, and Ralph is saying, don't get caught up in that ignorant fool. You don't have to explain yourself. That's a fool who's talking there. And Timescape is saying, Savah, you're a high-grade simp. What does Savah say? I must have missed it. What does Savah say that made him a high-grade simp? Lord of mercy. All he said was, hi, Tanya. Lord of mercy. And Farid is saying, this is a logical game of life, not an emotional reality. That person sounds silly. And Kevin is saying, women should definitely vote. Why would anyone say otherwise? There's some toxic people out there. Well, good morning, everyone. We have 120 people on the broadcast, just like I have 120,000 new subscribers here on YouTube. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And Farid is saying, LOL, girl, I live in Ga, but I'm born in Nubia. Where on the map is Nubia? Where on the map is Nubia? Where? Tell us which continent. So listen, everybody who's on this broadcast right now, I want you to hit the thumbs up button. Hit a thumbs up and say hello, hello. And Farid is saying, God equal Georgia. God equal Georgia. I'm from Georgia. Where is it that I was at? I think it was Georgia where I was when I drove down to that guy's, his, I don't want to call it a plantation, but whatever that thing was, it was the Nuwapian. When I drove down to his thing, he said he had an Egypt thing in the States. And I drove down there because my cousin was a Nuwabian or whatever they were calling themselves. This was before that whole scandal broke out with the guy and his pedophilia. And I drove down there, and when I saw those paper mache sphinxes and the paper mache statues, I didn't know where the hell I was. And I was, I was like, goodness gracious, there's so many people who are lost out here, who are lost. Audrey's in Ga as well. So, Audrey, say hello to Fareed. Fareed doesn't want you to be able to vote. And so Fareed is saying the kingdom of Cush, as it is mentioned in the Bible, Lord. You know, oh God. Fareed, you're going to go on a timeout in a moment because you ain't going to be distracting me from my broadcast with foolishness, you know? And so Farah is saying women not voting doesn't guarantee that your candidate's chance of winning. First of all, if women make up 50% of society, which they do across the board, all over the world, except for in countries where they manipulate the birthing process with abortions, etc. But women make up 50% of society. Women need to be able to have their voice heard for what also affects them. Especially, you know, I can tell when a person is ignorant because they just don't know. And this gentleman is ignorant because he doesn't understand that female leadership is actually more conducive with a more cooperative society, female leadership. So, of course, as a matter of fact, it's probably men who should not be voting. All right, let me not go to the extreme. Kevin is saying, why are you talking like that, Tanya? I'm from Ga, and I don't talk like that. I do know folks who, I wasn't making fun of anybody's accent. I lived in Ga for 8 years. I went to school out in Ga. And so I know about the Sade, what your name is? Sade. I know all about the vernacular down in Ga. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness gracious. And so Cyrita is saying, nature says the woman needs the man for protection. Many women are fooled by this civilized feminist society. Cyrita, let me ask you this. If there were no men in society, who would women need protection from? Answer that question. You know, because we talk about all of this protection that women need, but women need protection by men for other men who are going out raping, pillaging, and wreaking havoc all over the world. So if listen, let's go forward. Let's go forward. Answer that question. And Audrey is like, I beg her pardon. And Honey's like, loud, Tanya. And Miss Venus saying Fareed just flatline. And they're asking me to block Fareed. Oh, you know what? Okay, so Surviving R. Kelly. I have not seen the things. And Timescape is saying, don't be Sally. Female leadership is a farce. All right, dear. Don't worry. Don't worry. And Miss Venus saying, God said man needed help. So he created woman. The one bringing the help is stronger. I'm just saying. I don't believe in that doctrine. You know, I don't believe in the doctrine that is promoted that women came from these ribs. Everything that we see in nature shows that beings come through the female. So I don't know what's going on with that, this whole rib thing. But if people choose to believe that, and Fareed is like, block me. I still believe women should not vote for the sake of mankind. All right, Farid, go ahead. Go ahead, Farid. Block me. Block me. I say. You're too foolish. I have to watch the R. Kelly thing. I haven't seen it. And Timescape is like, themselves. Women need protections from themselves. My ladies' friends can't be in the same places for more than an hour before hating on each other. All right, I hear you. So they need protections from themselves. From themselves, I see. And Farah saying protection from the lions, tigers, and beers. Oh, goodness. And Farhia is saying, men and women are both important. I don't know why people fight this. Of course, they're both important. Of course. Ralph G. Hey, Ralph G. Got a lot of weak men out there. Like to talk a lot of S. And Farid is saying, LOL, you cute. And Free is saying, your impressions are funny. I can't stand these woke brothers, says Emma. And then Frank is saying, hi this morning. Hey, Frankie. And Audrey is like, block, block, please. You guys don't like Farid. What is Farid doing besides expressing his point of view? He's being respectful. He just has an opinion that's different than yours. He's not using profanity. He's not attacking anybody in particular. So why are we going to block this person? Even though even though he demanded to be blocked. Hey, Leanna, I'm enjoying you watching. And Cece is saying, I've always known he was guilty, but last night just made things a lot more clearer. It made it clearer, dearer. Good morning, everyone. Oh, Lord, Erica spitting out her water this morning. And Farida said, make fun of the Nubian. I still love you. See, the man is speaking words of love. He even put a little heart emoji there. And Kevin is saying there are a lot of women choosing to be ribs, rest in brokenness out here, just from reading comments on social media. You know what? The indoctrination is deep. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. And Disco is saying, I love you making accents where you making fun of backwards sexist fools. Oh, Lord, don't encourage me, please. Uh-oh. Don't encourage me. We're up to 140 viewers right now. So I want to see everybody thumbs up the video. We're going to talk for a little while longer. So did we talk about Derek Jackson? That was a video that happened this week. The petition against Derek Jackson. Can you believe that? I was stunned when I saw it, and I got a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach because I was like, really? What is going on? Oh, and someone asked about my dress. This dress is so old that the neck part is falling down. Oh, Lord. And William is saying females have... I'm not going to read anymore after you call women females. I'm done. Skip. And Ralph is saying, stop with that. That's not true. The Bible speaks of that because a lot of y'all don't read your Bible. All right. All right. Let me go forward. I don't even... How do I get... I'm not even going to go. Nubia is at Africa, modern day Sudan. Okay. Thank you. So you were born in Sudan is what you're saying. I don't understand. I don't understand what's happening. And Timescape is saying the world goes to crap when women are liberals lead. They can't make their minds up over policy. You know what? The happiest places in the world are progressive and liberal. So please stop with your mess. Stop with your mess. We get into The Handmaid's Tale when conservatives lead. And we get no health care. We get just foolishness. So go forward. Go forward. And Farah is saying, I believe we are all hermaphrodites until we evolved and separated our female and male genes into two separate sexes. That could be very possible. That is a theory that early humans were hermaphroditic and that, or androgynous. I wonder though, and I wonder, because androgynous is, I think, just aesthetic. But yeah, I've heard the theory of the hermaphroditic early human. And Traveling is saying, I can't with this Derek Jackson petition. Poor Derek hasn't done a thing to anybody. Well, you know what? Some people are really upset. Yes, they can shut D. Jackson up by proving him wrong. Yes, absolutely. Whew. And Sabah is saying, how did your event go? Are you going to recap it on YouTube? No, the event was an amazing event. Love Without a Limit in New York City was an amazing event where we took the time to dive in deep to the blocks that we have from self-love. And so it was a really personal time. It was a safe space where people had the opportunity to really dive in. I am going to do a Love Without a Limit in California when I get back. And Michelle is like, this old thing. No, this really is old though. The elastic is burst out of it. But where did I get this from? I must have gotten this on Amazon or something like that. The red dress probably too. If you guys want the links, just let me know. But it was Frank is so funny. And Cynthia is saying, what country are your parents from? I'm from a bicultural union. My mother was from the South, and my father is from an island called Nevis. Nevis, West Indies. It's in the Caribbean. And so Cyrita is saying, man and woman are needed for procreation. Bashing men is not the solution. For the most part, love your channel. What would you say is the solution to the emasculation of black men? You know, black men are really going to have to, and you know what? And I don't believe in, I don't believe in bashing. However, some of the stuff that I see black American men call bashing is really conversation. And one of the things that really disappoints me about black American men is the inability to have a conversation about anything other than praise. You know, it seems like the black American male is so downtrodden that anything other than good boy, you doing a good job, look at mama's big man. It seems like anything other than that is deemed bashing. And that to me is really sad. One of the things that I could say is that black American men are really going to have to, you know, the craziest part about it is that the very thing that black American men need to do to raise out of this state of downtroddenness is some of the very things that they're resisting. Like, we are going to have to fight for our women and children to the death, to the death. Because if women and children of a society are not protected, that the male cannot be respected. He just can't. Black American men are going to have to be viable and self-sufficient. It's kind of like when you're a child and you're talking about how you know this and you big man on campus, but your mama's buying your toilet paper, you know, and buying your underwear for you and laying out your socks and ironing your clothes and stuff. You know, so we're dependent in this society like children. We're dependent on Caucasian favor for everything, even down to the food that we eat. So it starts with protection. Black men are going to have to figure out a way to protect their family, to protect their offspring. Because if you can't protect your offspring, you have nothing. Somebody was talking to me today in the comments about the lion pride. And I'm like, if a lion can't protect his pride, then what does he have? He has nothing really. You know, and protection shows up in so many different ways. Monetary, physical protection, monetary protection, as well as housing, food. So it's like we don't control our food sources. It's like when we talk about soy and the feminization of you know what I'm trying to say, the feminization of males. First of all, far too many of us are estrogen dominant, including the men. And these estrogens are like, we have, what are they called? Oh, gosh, I wish I could think of the word, but we have estrogen products, estrogen that's showing up. They're not phytoestrogens. I can't think of the word, but basically there are, I want to think of the word, but maybe some of you may know it. So we have 150 people on the broadcast. Make sure you thumbs up the video. the plastics that we're using, all of these waters bottled in plastic, the cloudy plastic, we have soy in a lot of our processed products. We have things that are mimicking estrogen in our bodies, and it's wreaking havoc in women's bodies, it's wreaking havoc for men. And so when we talk about protecting our families, protecting our children, it starts with even just making sure that you are okay physically. It's like, how are you going to go out there and fight massa and your boobs are hurting? I'm talking about the men. Your nipples are sore from all of the estrogen. You're trying to run, but your nipples are hurting. So it's like, how are you going to do this? You know what I mean? It's like you. I ain't gonna talk about. You know what? I'm gonna change that train of thought. You may have seen my hand gesture, but I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move away from that because I'm thinking some stuff in my mind that's not politically correct. So it's like, so it starts there. It starts with. It starts with really. It starts with protecting the family. And protection shows up in so many different ways. We don't even control where and how our clothes come from. Look at our last names. Many of us are still running around with slave masters' last names. It's going to take us getting back in touch with our roots, creating a society where we can thrive. The motherland is still being siphoned off by Caucasian companies that are stealing the resources of this land. So it's like how down in South Africa, how they're kicking these white people off, and the white people and their privilege are like, this is my land. No, really, is it? How did you get that land? Just like now, we're starting to claim the artifacts that are in these museums around the world, which people have stolen. So it's like, just like in the movie Black Panther, it's like we have to start with figuring out what protection looks like. That's where we have to start. We have 13 minutes left for the broadcast, so make sure you ask everything that you want. And Timescape is saying they built those feminist societies off the back of civil rights, which is a movement from black men. LGBT and feminists need to stop taking credit. I really don't know what we're talking about there. And Farah is saying Nevis is beautiful, never been though. Nevis is a very beautiful place. And Traveling is saying, stop Derek Jackson. He is the devil. And Camera Speaks is saying, are you using a camera or a phone? How about I'm using a camera phone? I don't really know how people would use a phone to broadcast, I mean, a camera to broadcast live, because it has to connect to the internet. So since I'm live right now, I don't know how you would do that with the Kodak camera. And Cynthia is saying, I love your knowledge, intellect, and point of view. Yes, exactly. They need to boycott Jordans, not these random social media personalities. There's a lot going on. It's like there's a lot happening. And Frank is saying, what do black do? What do they take responsibility for? They have no accountability. Okay, so there's a lot of comments. I can't see all of them. So everybody who's on this broadcast, thumbs up. I'm going to scroll past so we could get down to the bottom of the comments. And Kevin is saying mass incarceration, emasculation, and these murders of black men throughout generation has affected us all as a whole, especially the psychology of the men. Yes. Yes. And Saba is saying, I think it's deeper than soy, and the problem is beyond America. African men have also been castrated politically, economically, and socially. I wonder what happened to black people. You know what happened to black people. Colonialism happened to black people. Slavery happened to black people. There's a lot that happened to black people. And we have to find a way to unify. We have to find a way to kick these corporations off of the motherland. We have to find a way to end the corruption in government on the motherland. Because like there's a lot of corruption that's going on. And Smurfette is saying the McDonald's girl got fired. I'm hearing that she has her job. They even started a GoFundMe for her where they raised almost more than $50,000 probably at this point. And so Jasmine is saying xenoestrogens. I believe that's the word. Xenoestrogens, where plastic is mimicking estrogen inside the body. And so there's a lot, you know what, there's a lot. You're right. It starts with what happened to us and continues to happen to us psychologically. And then goes from there. And so William is saying your dad is from Nevis, so St. Kitts and Nevis, which means you're a descendant from Ashanti. The ancient Ashanti were matriarchal societies. Inheritance was matrilineal. You have to tell me where you're getting that information from, because the slaves who were brought over to work in Nevis were Igbo. So the Ashanti were in Ghana, but the Igbo are Nigerian. And Sava is saying yes, but something must have happened before getting the physical manifestation that was enslavement and colonialism. What did we do to attract that experience, and how do we get out of it? You know, and Sava, that's a really good question. I don't know if we can answer that in the 10 minutes we have to make the broadcast under an hour. But I will say this. Remember when we talked about my displacement, and we talked about how my life changed for the better to get me to go where it is that I desire to go, right? In life. So when it comes to certain situations coming in that seem like havoc in the interim, if you think about and if you look at who Black people are right now, Black people, we are an amazing people. We are very strong. We are very resilient. We are very buoyant. We are very creative. We are amazing. With all of the adversity that we faced, we still rise, and we still rise with an ascension that is unstopped and unmatched, right? And so I would say that, and so okay, part of the reason, and so we talk about dating interculturally, and people are like, oh well, why don't you promote interracial, right? I don't look, people can do whatever it is that they want. Personally, I understand that the experience of being Black, with all of the adversity that we have worldwide, it creates a resilience. Like I wouldn't want to give my children an easy out. I don't know how to explain it better than that. But having biracial children who, especially in societies where the racially ambiguous is more accepted, where we have the white standard of beauty, and where our hair is feared and looked down upon. I want, like, if I had to create a human being, I would want that human being to come into this experience and navigate as a Black person, because it creates a strength and a resilience that far outweighs any other experience that any other human being can say that they have had. So so that's my take on it. I believe that the adversity that we've come through has gotten us to where it is that we are now. And if we can really come together to stop this earth from being destroyed by these white men, then we can really get to a place of really ascending. Because there's a lot going on that we have to come together to stop. And if we don't come together to stop it, then we're all doomed. This is the one planet that we have. And the Martians already destroyed their planet, and some of their Martian souls are here on this planet destroying this one. And so Fire Sign says, I love you, Sister Queen. I love you too. And Timescape is saying, I do love you, Fire Sign. Thank you for your support. So we got 5 minutes left on the broadcast. So say everything that you need to say. If you're on, there's 150 people on the broadcast now. Thumbs up the video. Leave whatever comment you're going to leave, and I will check them afterwards. And Miss Vina is saying Africa is a continent made up of many countries, all of which have been colonized or war torn due to ethnic hatred. White people have taken advantage of all of that in order to pillage. Yeah. Yeah. And so Christine is saying, but if they are biracial, they'd be more accepted by both races. That's not a good thing. Um, you know, there's definitely a strength that exists in the more melanin you have, the more coiled your hair is. There's a strength that exists in not being the standard of beauty and still having to find a way to feel yourself beautiful, even still. So so I mean, if that's what you want, I mean, go ahead and do that. I want my children to navigate through the world with an African nose, African lips, and African hair. That's how I want my children to navigate through the world. There are people who they covet European features and they want to give their children an easier time by making them biracial, and that's their choice. Like, for example, somebody showed me a story of these Chinese workers who were working in Africa, and these women were having these Chinese men's babies, and then the men were leaving them there with these babies. Well, in our society where we covet, Caucasoid features and anything that's closer to Caucasoidal, there's an advantage to having a child. There's an advantage to having a child come into the world being able to navigate with features that more resemble the oppressor. So there's a wealth in that as well. Look, people can do whatever it is that they choose to do. That wasn't something that I wanted. So, and so Timescape was saying, I love being black in the UK. Whites can't handle me, and I'm not suppressed by complacency of black struggle. Middle class whites are far too complacent to be successful. Hoo-wee. And traveling is saying, I'm honestly scared to have children. I'm scared that my kids will someday resent me for having them as fully black, especially since 9 times out of 10 their dad would be black. If that's the way that you feel, listen, having children is a mixed bag. You really don't know what you're going to come out with. And our children are a reflection of stuff that's going on inside of us. You get exactly what it is that you need in this lifetime. And Regis is saying slavery happened to all of us, so BM cannot continue to use castration as an out from rising up. Yeah, we have to rise up. And Raquez is saying, still waiting to hear back from you about the photo shoot. I don't know what photo shoot you're talking about, but I don't just let anybody photograph me. I don't know what we're speaking about. So you have to give us more information. And BB is saying, we as black people around the world need to stop blaming people. And Audrey saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then we're saying, have more faith. And there's a lot more. Let's see. Sava said something. And then after that, I'm going to give the goodbyes. And then we're going to go from there. So Sava is saying, post-traumatic slave syndrome by Dr. Joy. This is the second time in 2 days I've heard. Yesterday, someone was telling me about that book. And Celeste is saying, Tonya, I've only learned of you in the last 6 weeks. I've been so enlightened by your videos. Thank you and welcome. She's catching up now. And Farah is saying, Africa is cursed and damned. They don't have any respect for oh gosh, here we go. Listen, we have just 1 minute left and then we're going to get out of here. Listen, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out and for doing this this live broadcast with me. And it's funny, all of the people who had all of the criticisms about me, who had a chance to speak with me live today, I didn't hear those criticisms where people were telling me to shut up and sit down and all of that. People say so much stuff in the comments that they don't have the courage to say when you're talking one-on-one with a person. So give me some thumbs up right now. I'm going to get out of this video. I'm heading back to California next week, and so I need some video topics. So the R. Kelly thing I have to catch up on, the Ready to Love. I also want to finish the Michelle Williams thing, but when I found out they broke up, it kind of took away from the story for me. All right, so listen, and on that note, listen, I love you all very, very much. Go out there and love one another, but most importantly, what? That's right, love yourself. Love yourself. And loving yourself is having open dialogue with other people, speaking your truth, and listening to other people's truths as well, as long as their truth is spoken in a respectful way. On that note, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.